Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. You see their website right there. Mosquitoes are annoying. Mosquitoes can be dangerous if they're carrying disease, but mosquitoes can be managed. They can be killed. Call Southeast Termite and Pest Control this week to set up mosquito control services for your home and yard. They can come by and do a one-time treatment. They can do a monthly treatment, whatever you want to set up. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, you're not going to beat their pricing. Give them a shout this week. All right, simple question, I thought last night. It became not a simple question because I didn't think about special teams, how that fits into this. But the question is this. Guys who weren't starters, meaning offensive guys who were on the field for half the game, non-starters, non-stars from last year, and so we'll take out Dobbs, Hurd, Kamara, Sutton, Reeves-Maben. They're out of this list. Outside of those five guys, who would Butch Jones most want to see star this year? Who's in the position of need? Who's the guy he needs to step forward this year? And you can go offense, you can go defense, you can give me one of each. I'll throw it out there, whoever wants to go first.
How about Jason Crooms at tight end? It apparently has had a really good spring. And not only that, you've got a new position coach with Larry Scott that has brought a lot of energy to the team. So I would put him in. If you could add a little bit more or an extra dimension there, I think Butch Jones would love that.
All right. We got a Jason Croom.
I'll take Drew Richmond.
That's where I was going.
Five-star offensive lineman. If he can star at left tackle, that can be a difference in you trying to win a championship.
It also sets you up. You're not having to worry about it the next year. And the next year, you get a couple of years with this guy. If he's the guy, if he can step forward, you solidify that left tackle spot for a year or two to come. I think that answers a lot of questions. Guys.
I go Todd Kelly Jr. He was on the field a good bit last year but didn't start. This year he's got to be the full-time guy back there. And he's a guy that's shown he can get his hands on the ball and make some turnovers. So I think a big year from him would be huge.
Okay, so far we got Jason Croom, Drew Richmond, Todd Kelly.
Preston Williams. What have we talked about at the beginning? You need to be able to complete the deep ball. If he's catching a lot of deep passes and starring, then you have answered that question about the deep ball threat. So, and the coaches have talked about his maturity, his route running, the plays he makes, how dynamic he is. I think if he has a big year, that will improve the throw game, John. The throw game.
Got to improve the throw game. I'll throw in a fifth one, then we'll debate some of these guys. We've got Croom, Richmond, Kelly, Williams. I'll throw out Khalil McKenzie. Now, you want to have Bob Shoop wants to have a good rotation. They had a good rotation last year, defensive line. By the end of the year, it had worked itself into it. You look up front, I mean, that's where everything starts. If Khalil McKenzie can dominate and star up front, and you could push in another guy, Shy Tuttle, but McKenzie's gotten so much hype. He's getting so much love for what he's doing this spring in terms of just being explosive at times. If you can allow him to get a little pressure on the quarterback to stuff that run game, it makes the jobs easier for your linebackers and for your secondary. So, to me, McKenzie ranks up there with Richmond and some of these other guys. Any other names we want to throw in here first?
Rashawn Golden.
Yes.
I think it's safety. I think he's got a chance to be a terrific player. It looks like he's going to play safety instead of nickel, but I think he's got a chance to be an all-SEC caliber player if he can stay healthy.
Okay, you just stole one from me for later in the show. I think he will be. What do you guys got in terms of who Butch Jones would want? Anybody else you want to throw in there that's a position of need that he wants to see step forward and explode this year?
If I wasn't going to go Drew Richmond, I would have gone Khalil McKenzie, and you could probably say McKenzie or Shy Tuttle because they were both highly touted tackles coming in the same class. If one of those guys emerges, obviously you want both, but if one of those guys emerges to become an elite defensive tackle, that makes a big difference in the SEC.
But how about if your defense is wanting to be more aggressive? How about Kyle Phillips, as a defensive end and what he could bring? Because that's going to be one of your big priorities is putting more pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, and again, when I say no, I took out five off the top. Barnett, obviously, you count him as a star.
And don't you see a theme on some of these guys that they had injuries? A lot of the players we've talked about had to overcome injuries.
Golden, Croom, Williams was coming back from an injury. McKenzie Phillips had the injury.
Right.
So of these, Golden, Croom, Richmond, Kelly, Williams, McKenzie, Phillips, what is the most important spot? Who is the guy? If Butch Jones had to pick one guy, just the one, to excel this season, who's the one out of that bunch?
Boy, it's tough. I would probably go with Drew Richmond. And look back at what a heated recruiting battle that was too. On top of that, and you really didn't see much of him, if at all, last year.
I would say Richmond, if not him, probably Preston Williams, because that again would go back to the first segment where we were talking about with the offense.
Yeah, I'd go Williams.
Okay. Mike?
I'll go Williams.
Okay, 2 Williams and 3 Richmond. You lose. All right. When we come back, we have plenty of football to cover. We're going to run through Tennessee's schedule. I've looked at history. Tennessee wants to win an SEC championship. Let's look at past SEC champions. See who defeated them. Who did they lose to? Is there anything history tells us in terms of who might be dangerous that we're not expecting? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But next, we're going to talk Smokies baseball. They open up this week. General Manager Brian Cox is with us next. More football to come. Come on back on the Sports Source.